Yo, what up YouTube? It's Bryce. Going to be doing a Frog Monarch deck profile right now because it's amazingly good against the meta. Mainly elemental dragons, but also whatever. It just has pretty good matchups right now, and there was no good, solid post-Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy format Frog Monarch deck, so I'm like, I'll make my own. Here we go. I'll explain what needs it. 3 Swap Frog does not really need explanation. 2 Treeborn. 3's always been too many, but right now you rely pretty heavily on Treeborn with the deck right now, so 2 helps you see it more. If something happens to 1, it's good, whatever. 1 Dupe Frog. I was running the deck with none, and it was honestly working fine, but put the Dupe in just for utility. It's another card to ditch with Swap Frog. It is another card to remove for Ronan-Toad, and it's kind of like a 4th Swap Frog. You can just helps you see it more. 1 Ronan-Toad provides a little bit of extra utility for tributing, possible exceeding, but we only run the 1 because the deck's a lot less exceeds based than other frog decks of the recent past formats. And then on to hand traps now. 3 Battle Fader. That's all I need to say. 2 Maxx C. This card's pretty good right now, and I like it main deck in this especially, since even if it's not good against a deck, you can just summon it and make a rank to exceed with one of your frogs. So it's always nice to have it be less dead, I guess. And same logic on Valor. Even if you play a deck it's not that great against, you can just summon Valor and make a level 7 or 8 Synchro. And 2 Trag. This card's amazing in a lot of decks, and this deck especially, it just shines so hard. It's so good. But you guys already know that. Same thing with Gores. That's all I'm going to say. 3 Caius right now. This is one of the reasons the deck's so good. You just remove that Draco Sack or whatever problem card. 1 card out. It's very good. Same logic on 3 Ryza. Just get rid of whatever you need to get rid of. Mainly extra deck cards. But it's slightly less good than Caius, but still very good. Then 2 Lad. In Frog Monarchs, Lad belongs at 2, usually either in the side or main, depending upon the format, and right now it is a main deck Lad format, in my opinion at least. And then Dark Dust. There's new players coming into this game all the time, and I guess like Lad, that's why I made that Lad video a couple days ago, but there's new players coming into the game all the time, and not all of the new players are going to know what Dark Dust Spirit is, so they won't be expecting it. It just wipes boards. It's like a second Dark Hole, or reusable Dark Hole. It's just a very good card. Dark Hole, another card that I believe is still good right now, because I guess it's not that great against Mermail or whatever, and it's not that great against E-Dragons, but there are several other decks, so I still think it's worth running. Reborn, heavy. Foolish Burial. Dump your Treeborn, dump a card for Trag to copy, do whatever you want. It's fairly versatile in this deck. Book of Moon, we don't run traps, and also Book of Moon is pretty good right now. And you can book your Lad after it's out of the negates, and then flip it back over and get 4 more negations, so you kind of +3 in a way with Book of Moon. So that's great. 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. I've never liked 3 really in a deck, main deck. So I guess that's preference, but I also don't think 3 is really necessary now. 2 Pot of Duality. You guys are probably like, this deck special summons essentially every turn with Treeborn. How do you run Pot of Duality? You just need this to get your, I guess, cycle flowing or whatever you want to say. And also then if your Treeborn lives a turn, you can just Duality. It's not necessarily as dead as you'd think. It's still a very good card. 2 Soul Exchange. It's always been a good out to cards that don't have many outs to them, and that's still true, but it's not as good as Enemy Controller, so we run 2. And then 3 Enemy Controllers. Card's just amazing. It's basically free in this deck because of Treeborn, so you just stand by Econ, you take whatever they have, and right now there's some good cards to take, like Big Eye and Draco Sack. They leave a Big Eye and anything else on their board, because they're like, I guess, like, again, with people not knowing how to play against this deck, they know not to leave Big Eye against decks that make Big Eye, at least, hopefully, but this deck essentially does make Big Eye if your opponent runs it. You just take their Big Eye. So yeah, catch people off guard with that, I guess. Less experienced players or whatever. I don't think it's wrong to use experience to win, essentially. I'm not talking about brand new players. You guys understand what I mean. I'm just going to talk about the extra deck. One Gotchi. Still a very good card, even though the deck's less Exceed based. One Daigusto Phoenix. Same thing. Still a very good card. It's there if you need it. Same thing with Dark Mist. And then on to two cards that I am running because of lacking other ones. But you can econ, and basically once you've econed, you can keep their monster. If it's level 5 Exceed, you put this on top. If it's a Utopia, you put that on top. Ideally, these would be a Crimson Blader and a Photon Strike Bouncer. I just don't physically have the cards, although I don't really feel wrong about having these in here because they're both good cards. And those two cards are both very easy to obtain, Photon Strike Bouncer and Crimson Blader. I just haven't physically gotten them yet. So yeah, run those instead if you're actually making this on DN or something. And then one Formula Synchron, you make that with Valor and Treeborn. You make level 7s with Monarchs and Valor, so Ancient Fairy, Black Rose, and Scrap Archfiend, all three for that reason. And then with Gore's tokens, or potentially Trigodia, I guess, you can make Stardust, Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter, and Red Dragon Archfiend. Very good card right now. You just run into their Crimson Blader and take their Crimson Blader if they happen to make one. Which, yes, it does happen. I guess that's all the explanation I need. That might be a little bit foggy. I could explain that better, but I don't want to do that in the middle of the video. Two Chimeritic Fortress Dragon, because extra deck space is not very tight at all in here, and Draco sucks a card, and also machines are somewhat popular right now. On to the side deck. Two Cyber Dragon for the reasons I just said for Chimeritic. And also, I guess it's good against random rogue stuff, 21 beater. Two Jinzo for anything that runs traps, including like Exodia stuff and Final Countdown and Burn. Good against those. And also just generic anti-meta high trap count decks. Two Vanity's Fiend. This is very good against a lot of stuff right now, E-Dragons especially. Yeah, you just summon this card. It's like, well, what do they do? They have to wait for Burner, basically. That's the card, right? Blaster, that's what I meant. You guys know what I meant. One Raikou. This basically is like a 4th MST, because side decked, yes, people are going to side cards in against this deck, but you don't need all your MSTs mained, is why I played the 2 mained. It was between this and Snowman Eater, and this just is more versatile because it can hit cards, not just monsters. Electric Virus, take whatever you want. Take dragons and take machines. It's very good. Whenever these type of cards, Puppet Plant and this and the other one, Magical, or whatever, is the zombie one. Whenever 2 decks in the format, or at least 2 decks, whenever both of this card's effect could potentially be used, these cards are very good. You guys, that probably made sense to some people. I could explain that more if someone needs me to. One Mobius, I wasn't playing this, but then I realized Mobius hits back row and people side back row. So, yeah. It's very good for the Gozen match, getting sided in against you. You just bring back Treeborn, and then you plop down Mobius, because you can still do it. And same logic with Rivalry, because it is Aqua. Aqua/Effecto, because that's a Spanish Mobius. And Prime Material, one card out to burn. If you guys know that in your meta, at your locals, no one's going to play Chain Burn, there's no need to side this. You could side a second Raikou or something. Or a second Obelisk, I guess. We play Obelisk because this card, if you get this out against Elemental Dragons, since they think they're too good for Dark Hole, you basically win. They don't have an out to this. You just attack over everything and eventually win. Plus its Obelisk is just fun to summon. Treacherous Trap Hole. This is one of those cards you can either main or side, I guess, depending upon your player preference, but I think it's good enough to have the extra removal in the side deck. But I couldn't find space in the main. The third MST, in this format, yes, it's necessary to at least side and main the 3 MSTs, but I don't think they're necessary in main, but there's the one on the side. And then 2 Creature Swap, a very good card. It's just another card that lets you take your opponent's monsters, and a lot of decks can't handle a taste of their own medicine right now, so you give them the Treeborn and take their whatever, and proceed to beat them down with their own monster, which is a satisfying feeling. I guess. And then another thing worth mentioning, 3 tokens, basically, with this deck, if you're going to try to play this in real life, because you need your Gores token, and then if you're going to be taking Draco Sacks, you have to be able to provide tokens if you activate monster effects, or any card effect that causes you to summon tokens. You have to have them there to summon, I guess. So yeah, that's why we run these. Plus, look at those. Like, I want to play this deck. I built this for my friend to play, and I want to play it just because of these tokens. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. Any criticism or anything that I didn't explain well enough, I guess I'll be happy to clarify that if needed. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.